our new color matching system here at Refinish Coatings, whereby we're going to use our fan deck with 148 colors, and we're going to match up the closest one that we can get, and we're going to make that color, and then we're going to tweak it and alter it so it's just the right color. And it starts with a light tan, off-white, and goes into tans and browns, and then it goes through some dark browns, some grays, light grays, and then in dark and charcoal. I'm going to go with this 1270. It looks like it might be just a little bit dark, but I like the color and I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to make 4 ounces of this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 1270 number and I'm going to look it up in the formulation book. And it's going to give me a formula. Here it is, 1270. Okay, so now we're going to start mixing the color using our formula for number 1270. Start by turning on the scale. And I am using it's like a 9-ounce cup. I'm making 4 ounces of what we call pigmented top coat, meaning the color, the pigment is in the top coat of the product, and we're going to be applying that. I'm going to tear out the scale, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, in order from, I like to work from the bottom up. I like to put the clear coat in first, and then I'm going to add the white, the green, the red oxide, and the yellow, and mix all that up and test that. So first I'll start by adding my clear coat, and in this instance today we're going to be using a 50/50 satin clear coat, and it calls for 106.5 grams. You want to stir the bottle up, make sure there's no sediment at the bottom of the bottle. If there is, it's always a good idea to get in here with the stir rod and stir it up so you get an equal mixture. Okay, so 106.5 grams. Just a little over. I want to try to get as close as you can. It's real important that the pigments go in exact. The clear coats, you can be off by a gram or half a gram and you're okay. Next we're going to put 14.71 grams of white in. Again, in order to get an accurate color mix, it's best that you mix the pigments up with the stir rod. The pigments are very heavy, they settle. And if you don't mix up thoroughly, you'll have a mismatched color. I'm going to tear the scale back to 0 and proceed to put 14.71 grams in. The next color is green. Next color is green. I'm putting in 0.78 grams. Tear the scale to 0. Next is red oxide. Next we're putting in 2.4 grams of red oxide. 0 the scale, 2.4 grams. And last we're going to put in our yellow oxide. .31 grams of yellow oxide. The pigments want to stick to the bottom of the cup, so you really need to get in there and mix it thoroughly. See all the pigment on the side of the cup? That's all got to get added into the mixture. So I've got it thoroughly stirred. I'm going to put it on my finger. And I'm going to come back over here where I matched the color originally. And I'm going to put a dot down, and I'm going to dab it in and spread it out. I don't want it too thick, I don't want it too thin. I'm going to put a dab down, and I'm going to dry it right away and see what the color looks like. Okay, it does look like it's a little dark, like I thought it would be. Now comes a time when we start having to match the last little bit of this color by eye. And here's where the color wheel comes in and helps. On the color wheel are some facts about primary, secondary colors, and I strongly suggest you memorize these and use this as a tool to help match colors. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide whether we need to add white or black. That's usually the first thing I like to do is determine if we're too dark or too light. And in this case we are too dark, so I'm going to start by adding a few drops of white to the mixture. So I'm going to add a few drops of white to lighten up my color. Now, more than a few drops. We added about 15 or 20 drops of white. Stir that in real good. Put a dab on my finger and dab it on the seat just like before. Okay, that moved a little bit, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to put some more white in. It's still too dark. I'm adding a little bit more white. And at this point, it looks just a little bit light. I'm looking at this one right here. I went from this one to this one to this one, and my fourth mark was right here. I'm going to add 1 drop of black to this mixture. And at this point, I think I got it. I think once I spray it in, it's going to blend in and you won't see it at all. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to clean these marks off. There's no sense in having to spray over the marks. Even though I will be refinishing this area, I'm going to take the marks off. Take them off while I still can get them off. In a few hours, they're not going to come off.